everyone. Thank you for joining us today at the Michigan Cannabis Industry Association. We are back from our break.
Season 2.
Season 2. My name is Ida Pearl Lee. I'm the Deputy Director and Patient Advocate.
And I'm Isaiah Roberts. I'm the Development Director here at the MiCIA, and today we are accompanied with our first guest of Season 2, Jevin Weyenberg from Lake Effect.
Thanks, Isaiah. Thanks, Ida. Thanks, Michigan Cannabis Industry Association. Definitely glad to be here.
We're happy to have you here.
Yeah.
We've been trying to get you into our offices for a while now.
Yeah. I'm here. I'm happy to be here. Beautiful offices, too.
Absolutely. So we want to talk about your summer. How's your summer been going?
It's been good. It's been busy. I had time to fit in a few summer vacations, so that was good. The summer annual with the MiCIA was phenomenal. We're growing some dispensaries and stuff, so that's been good to work through this summer as well. But the kids are back in school as of yesterday, so that's great as well.
Just moving right along.
So free babysitter, which is good.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
And back to the more working schedule and things like that with them in school now. But no, it's been fun.
Nice. So let's go back to the summer annual. You and your wife were able to come this year.
Me and my wife, and we brought both kids. It was a great event. Thank you to the MiCIA for putting that on, and Robin, and all the hard work you guys did, Ida and Isaiah.
Absolutely.
3-day event at Shaney Creek, just east of Torch Lake. I mean, it's definitely tough work. No, it's a beautiful resort. It just doesn't get much better than 3 days. Smoking some weed at Shaney Creek, golfing, going out on the pontoon boats on Torch Lake, and just living that beautiful northern Michigan life.
Right.
So we cherish all those days.
Yeah, and you said you made some business connections too?
Yeah, definitely. That's one thing that I love about the Michigan Cannabis Industry Association. We met some growers up there and purchased some of their product right there at the summer annual, and it was good. Nice, easy way to communicate and keep your stores with really solid, phenomenal products for customers to come in and purchase. So
yeah, that's really awesome to hear.
Yep. Yeah. Prices go down a little bit on the golf course, we learned, so that's helpful.
Yeah. Well, we are famous for our in-person networking events. So.
Yep, definitely. So.
Nice.
How'd you hit them out there? Because I know that we passed you guys right at the beginning, because we were
we didn't want you guys videoing us or anything, but no, I mean, I hit the ball okay. My goal at Shaney Creek is always just to come back with a few balls in my bag because of how easy it is to lose balls out there. I mean, you get it off the fairway and you might as well kiss your ball goodbye. The rough there is just it's a nightmare, but I know every hole is beautiful. Luckily we had a few golfers in our group that were much more confident than me at golfing. So we played best ball, and I'd be hitting their balls pretty much every shot.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Once mine were in the woods, but no, it was great. It's fun to golf out there, and I've golfed 2 of the courses. I think there's 4 altogether. I'd love to golf the other 2. So
yeah,
looking forward to that in years to come.
You say there's like Shush Mountain, Summit, Chief, the Legend, and
then we play the Legend and Summit.
Yeah,
and I think each one I lost about 20 balls on somewhere.
I mean, my first year I played at the Chief, and like right off the tee, just 3 balls. So
they need to make it a little easier up there. Tell them we got the Cannabis Industry Association up here golfing now. You got to make the course a little easier.
Yeah, we need balls available on this hole.
I mean, next year we're gonna need an in-house like babysitter, so you should take the kids.
Oh yeah, so. An in-house babysitter would be great. You guys would get probably even more kids up there if you had that. But,
well, it is the 21 and older event.
Yeah. No, the kids are having fun swimming at the pool and all that.
Yeah, they can have fun outside from what we're doing.
Right.
Yeah, totally true.
It's fun for everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as you all know, we interview our licensed cannabis business owners, getting to know them, their story, and just their background. Jevin, what originally brought you to cannabis, or why are you involved in it?
Yeah, so it really was a cancer diagnosis. It was nothing else. I didn't have much experience with cannabis a whole lot prior to having cancer. I had used cannabis before. I had tried it a few times, but nothing ever, especially that I would consider using for my medical needs before 2013 is when I was diagnosed with testicular cancer. Luckily, it was caught pretty early on. I did have a couple surgeries, and then I went through about 6 months of chemotherapy. And through the chemotherapy, I started, at the advice of friends, started using cannabis, and it was helping me a lot more than the medicine that the hospitals were giving me to get rid of things like nausea, pain that I had, just daily chronic pain, sleeplessness, appetite loss. It was tough. A few, people that have gone through chemo understand the cumulative nature of it. After you get a few weeks or a few months into it, it really starts dragging your body down because of all it's not only killing cancerous cells, it's also killing healthy cells in your body. And we're only human. Your body can only handle so much of that. Your body can only make new healthy cells so fast. So definitely the nausea, the chronic pain was starting to get to me more and more months into that. And cannabis was, no matter how heavy the chemo got, as soon as I used cannabis after my chemo treatments, I felt as good as I do sitting here talking to you guys today. Clear mind, healthy body, feel healthy. I know that my body was not healthy at that time. It was in recovery mode, but it definitely helped me recover a lot faster than what I would have without cannabis. Keeping your body nourished properly during chemotherapy is really hard, and cannabis helped with that. People that have gone through chemo understand this better than most. When you're sitting there in that chair going through chemo, your body's being pumped full of poison to kill all of those cancerous cells, and your body knows it's being pumped full of poison, or your mind does at least, and it gets to the point where anything you put in your body, such as food, your mind kind of plays a trick on you and think, oh, what is this poison you're putting in me? So you have a lot of appetite loss from that, just not wanting to put anything in your body after those chemo sessions because of your body, I think naturally wants to reject that stuff. But you can't. You got to keep eating. You got to find ways to make yourself keep eating so that you can recover and get healthy again and do cool things like podcasts and Cannacast with Ida and Isaiah. So when that was really what lit the passion inside me to once I realized where the cannabis quote unquote industry was at that time, I realized really medically speaking, there was no backup for me or for my ailments and for anybody else that had cancer in most of this state and the country, frankly. So I knew that I had to try to make a difference and get involved in the industry, and knowing how good the medication itself was at that point in time, based on experience, I just knew that it had to be more available to people that had serious ailments. So that's all I could think about at that point was how can I make that happen? And then the education process started picking up a lot quicker on what laws were like, where can I get tested cannabis, if anywhere, where can't I? What should I be using? What shouldn't I be using for symptom management?
Right. Can I ask what you were using cannabis, like what
just
format?
Flower. Just flower. Yep.
Okay.
And especially on the west side of the state, there was really no infrastructure for commercial cannabis. Mm-hmm. I couldn't have driven to Ann Arbor or places like that after a chemo treatment to get any sort of concentrate. Although at the time I didn't know that it was there anyways. But it was just flower that I could get from whoever I heard that had some cannabis, and that was, although I had some friends that really helped me out, it really felt like when you have a serious disease like that, you're treated like a second-class citizen to get the medication that is best for you. So that was a problem for me. It really, my dignity was hurt by that, and I can only imagine how many other people were going through the same thing and worse. And so that was the motivation really to continue to try to do what we've been doing since then. But
well, and it's really a quality of life. I mean, you were able to
Mhm.
give yourself that, and you want others to help experience that as well, and it's giving back, and
Yep.
it's understanding that, you know, your quality of life may look different from mine, but everyone deserves a quality of life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And cannabis is, especially for people that are sick, can greatly enhance their quality of life, and especially for people that may have a more serious type of cancer where they have a limited amount of life left. Those last few months, those last few years are everything to that person. And nobody feels alive by taking a bunch of narcotics and pain pills and being a zombie in a bedroom chair or something like that. And that's another thing that was great about when we opened our first store. Just the first few people that started coming through the door were those types of people. And really, you knew with the first time you had a commercial establishment and opened the door, whether it was legal or not at the time, when those people walk through the door and you start to learn about their life and what they're going through, and that you're providing a necessary staple of their quality of life, you know that you're doing the right thing, and you got to keep doing more of it. So, you know, we just kept pushing forward and pushing and try to push every boundary we could possibly push to bring cannabis and make it more accessible to everyone in our community and subsequently the state, you know, as it turned out. As we were, you know, we were an open commercial establishment before licensing, and that allowed us to, to network a lot better than a lot of other people. It allowed us to communicate with a lot of caregivers that were out there kind of living on their own islands and being afraid. You know, a lot of caregivers were doing great things, but they're doing it a lot of times by themselves or with a really small group because they couldn't trust a lot of people outside of their inner circle, and rightfully so. So it was great being a commercial establishment, being able to communicate with them and what they were doing and kind of help get everyone on the same page, saying, hey, this is what we need to do to move this thing forward.
Right.
We helped the legalization campaigns. We had petitions at our store the whole time, trying to get everyone that came in to, you know, asking them for their signature for the legalization campaigns, educating them on how important it was that Michigan legalizes cannabis, not so that you can smoke weed necessarily, but so our society can be lifted up instead of brought down so much by the negative stigma, the negative laws around this industry that were there at that time. It was just a great honor and privilege to try to do as best we could for that, and luckily it pretty much worked out. It was, you know, when the 2016 ballot initiative went down so close to the finish line, I'm glad that the people, Robin Schneider being one of them, that were defeated in 2016 didn't quit.
Right.
And they took all the power they had that they generated from that and rolled it over, and they said, you know what, we're going to dust ourselves off and we're going to fight for another 2 years against even a super Republican state, really, and a super Republican administration. We're going to fight another 2 years and try to get this thing across the finish line. And they did, and some national organizations helped out a little bit too, and they got it done in 2018. And there's been, I think, a lot of good things happening since then. But
well, I know, I mean, I appreciate all of your work that you've been doing to help.
Well,
right down the stigma.
It's an honor and a privilege to just be a part of that and understand what your place is, try to understand what your place is in this industry, and really, cannabis has been something that's been around since the beginning of time. So it's just unfortunately been illegal for a few decades now, and that's really been harmful. But we're bringing this back to a place of where it should have been, and out of a place where it should have never been. So it's great to do that. And when I talk to a lot of people over the years about cannabis regulation, a lot of times, you know, people would say to me, well, yeah, I'm voting for legalization because I don't want to see anyone arrested for cannabis, and they shouldn't be arrested for cannabis. And I'm like, yeah, that's absolutely true. They shouldn't be. But really, the biggest impact legalization is going to have is on probable cause for law enforcement, essentially, because for every arrest of cannabis that there was back in the day, there was 20 times that where the smell of cannabis was used for probable cause to invade someone's life or via their vehicle or their house, and that was causing way more damage on our society and on the people in our society than even cannabis arrests at the time were, because of that. It's so invasive, and that power should have never been given to law enforcement. And I don't have anything against law enforcement. But it's the people that dictate what laws they enforce,
Exactly.
and the people shouldn't have dictated that they enforce that law, but they did years ago for various reasons, and
Right.
And now we've taken that away, thankfully. But it's done a lot of damage in the meantime, and we're trying to repair some of that. But you can't repair 80 years worth of damage overnight.
Correct.
So
yeah, it takes time, and one step at a time, essentially. Yeah.
And when I feel like when we met, it was in like 2019. We were at the Capitol, and forget which night it was, but it honestly might be like a 2-year anniversary coming up in the next couple of months. But have you always had that activity and educational and legal knowledge base, ever since you finished treatment? Like, how long does your history go in the legal activism side of it?
yeah, just pretty much since I finished chemotherapy and understood the role that cannabis played in our society, negative and positive, and understood really kind of how skewed that was into racism and where it started from in the 1930s and 1920s. It was born and bred out of racism, and it's still causing a lot of racist issues today. And the states that aren't legalized, I feel so sorry for the people in those states. Right now, there's somebody being arrested for cannabis possession in some state where it's illegal. And another thing that people don't necessarily realize is having that charge on your record. It may not be, you may not even do any jail time for that, but having that charge on your record is, for a lot of people, it's a life sentence economically. It's a life sentence for them to get any educational assistance. It's a life sentence for that person to be able to get any employment assistance, housing assistance, you name it. And a lot of politicians that were in power understood that having that charge on your record was going to take all those opportunities away from you, and that's what they wanted. And that's why it stayed illegal for so long, is so the government has that power to put that on your record, take opportunities away from you. And I'm glad we're not standing for that anymore in Michigan.
Absolutely, yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about your stores? We know you have 2.
Yeah, so Lake Effect was our first store that we opened in 2015. We love it. It's our baby. It's a phenomenal store. Great people, great team there. Thank you, everyone at Lake Effect, for constantly doing a good job for our customers and the community. We have a kind of a clinical look there, I would say, a cross between maybe a pharmacy, an Apple store, and a jewelry store, a little bit. A sales display and counter kind of when you walk in. We have about 7 stations there to help, a couple for medical patients and a few more for recreational. Yeah, we're just trying to have the best products on the shelf there at all time, have the best prices, have the best customer service. It's all about doing what's right for the community and leading by example. And Doja, our second store that we opened up in 2019, is it's a great store. Thank you to all the employees at Doja for the phenomenal job they do on a daily basis. A little more of a recreational feel there.
Okay.
A little more maybe party atmosphere, so to speak. But we kind of got some graffiti type looks there and tie-dyes and neon type thing, make it a little more fun and spicy.
Nice.
And we'll be opening a third store, I think, here in the next 30 days. That store will remain nameless for now.
Okay. Congratulations on the third opening, though.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That'll be in Portage as well.
Okay.
And we'll have a few different flares with that one, so to speak, I guess. But so yeah, but there's a lot of demand for cannabis out there. A lot of demand, and I like to equate it to the law when it was passed was there's a coalition. It was a coalition to regulate marijuana like alcohol. I think on the other side of that is cannabis is sales and the commercial nature of cannabis is going to go where alcohol is now, and actually past where alcohol is now when you consider all the multifaceted nature of the cannabis plant and what you can make it into in our society. So so it's
Well, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask. You said the dispensary, the third one's gonna remain nameless. What goes into naming the dispensary, since you have like Lake Effect and something different like Doja? You could have gone like a totally different way.
Yeah, well, our partner Justin, he definitely is the branding guru amongst us, and we based it on a few different things. Proximity to our other stores is one of the things right now that we're really we wanted to run some different brands because our stores are somewhat close together, so they're gonna pick some of the same clientele from time to time. So it's nice kind of having a whole different angle of branding you can run with.
Yeah.
And just see what that does. But another great thing about cannabis is it's kind of a blank slate. So you just kind of sit there and you think and think and think and throw out ideas and try to do things to generate different ideas. And you can just come up with things, and you sometimes do a process of elimination. Sometimes you just say, this is what it's going to be, and see what happens. But we're really happy with how the brands have turned out and what the future brands are, how they're lining up. And it's great to be in an industry that's so new that you haven't been copied too much or anything like that yet. So,
right.
So it's fun. It's one of the fun parts of the industry, and it's a privilege to be able to even create a brand. So we definitely keep that at heart. And, it's kind of like one of the old grower mantras that we've heard: if you grow it, you can name it. So
right.
If you start the business, you can name it. So hopefully you name it something that somebody likes.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And the brands, we want to thank you for bringing in these Blaze edible gummies.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about these and kind of how you came up with Blaze
so
edible?
Blaze, it's our first product out of our processor Black Market Brands, Blaze edible gummies. They are a low dose gummy. One thing that we noticed early on is that a lot of people don't have experience with edibles, and when they do get experience with edibles, a lot of times they're eating a little bit too high of a milligram content for what their body really needs or wants, especially starting off. So the Blaze edibles are a micro dose type of edible. There's about 12 gummies in each pack. They're about 1.5 milligrams each gummy, so the whole pack is between 20 and 25 milligrams. But for a lot of people on the recreational side, 2 to 3 milligrams as a dose is good for them. And so it's the only low dose product I'm really aware of that I've seen that's out there. So
yeah, you're right, because usually you have to tell people bite it in half.
Right.
you want to start out slow, so it's awesome that you have a low dose available.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's great for everyone that knows themselves but doesn't know themselves about cannabis. So they need to just, it's like, once they don't feel their version of normal, they start freaking out. So
right.
Yeah, it's usually an easy conversation for the bud tender to talk someone into trying, especially for the new customer. And they're cheap. They're probably gonna be one of the cheapest things on the shelf at any dispensary because of the wholesale cost on them is about $3. A lot of times people can sell them for $5. 4 for $20 is a great deal on them that we run at Lake Effect. It's for $4, it's not a bad little edible to help with a lot of different ailments.
Yeah, nice. And one thing I really like is just the fact that you have 2 dispensaries, and the third one coming up, and just making it accessible, so they don't have to make a day out of it and drive to Ann Arbor or something like that. And then you have the price factor too, so they can really get a deal on it. And that's another side of location, and then the economics of it, and making it affordable is a great thing. And that is just great for the community, because then that's their home base for that product. I'm a pretty loyal customer. I always say, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So if I know it's there, I'm going to go there every single time. And if there's somebody behind the counter that I like, I might just pop in just to say hello.
Sure, yeah.
But
you definitely got to try Lake Effect, Isaiah. Come be our loyal customer.
Hey, Portage and it's what Lake Effect's in Kalamazoo, and then Portage. Oh, Portage. Okay, both in Portage. So, okay.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, it's not that
anyway,
far.
come visit us at least, and we'll give you a tour. Maybe there's some free samples involved. I don't know.
Maybe. I love how you looked at me.
Definitely got to come out and tour though.
Yeah. So we can definitely add it to our list. The MiCIA definitely wants to go on tour at some point, so we might as well start making dates for it. But like besides that impact, I did see, you know, yourself and like Effect have been involved in like numerous charities too over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
And what can you tell me more about that?
Sure. Charity is what we love the most, really, and it's an honor and a privilege to get to do anything related to charity. But you know, working with Porter's Community Center, charities like Lending Hands and 12 Baskets as a food bank has been a great one. We have worked with the City of Kalamazoo on a few different things. We've worked with the VFW, the Marine Corps League. We've worked with, I mean, we've fed the homeless camps a few times. I don't want to toot my own horn by some of the charity things we've done, you know, because we like, you know, we don't do them for any recognition. It's about lifting up society and about lifting up our community. So.
Well, you're heavily involved in your community.
Being involved in our community is very important to us. We're all from the Portage area. I was born and raised in Kalamazoo. We understand some of the struggles our community has had in the past and continues to have, and we've tried hard to help bring our community out of some of those struggles and create opportunities for some people that either may not realize the opportunities are there or what it takes to grab onto those opportunities and try to benefit from them. And cannabis opportunities there's a lot of them out there, and a lot of people don't realize it because there's no educational foundation for cannabis. There's still a lot of stigma around cannabis. There's obviously a high cost of entry for the most part when it comes to cannabis.
Right.
So there's a lot of walls and barriers that people feel like they got to go through to be involved in this industry. And there are a lot of walls and barriers, but it's not insurmountable. And it's hopefully going to get easier in the future to capitalize on some of those opportunities.
Absolutely. We have a little bit of a treat. We have a pop-in. Hey, Robin.
Hey.
What's going on?
Hello.
Thanks for joining the show today.
Yeah.
Good
Good to see you again.
Show us what Devin brought you.
He brought me gifts. See what we have in this bag. Okay, first we're going to pull out the gummies.
Woo! Look at that.
Leaf, edible, strawberry banana, pink grapefruit, and pineapple.
The pink grapefruit.
Yeah,
Really good.
and I'm going to give these straight to Ida. And I'm going to take these to my mom. I can't do edibles. Because edibles are just
Those
really...
are low dose, Robin.
No.
I mean, I think you can
No.
survive.
I won't. It's bad. I am not like... You got to know your body, right?
Yeah.
And
You know your body.
and I will
Anyone,
just
right?
be sleeping in my office. I just can't do it. So, but this is the exciting part. Okay.
Yes.
So he also brought me some pre-rolls. Woo! And I know this one well. Pure Cannabis Company, Holy Grail. I'm not sharing this. And I love the packaging because the glass. That's nice, but it's pretty. And Ida and I got to try pretty much all of their strains over the summer up at, you know, Sammy's house. And what was it? Cannacast was in town.
Cannacast,
and
yeah.
I want to be invited next time.
I'm sorry. It's pretty, you know what, it
Top of the
was like,
list, Jevin.
it was like 100 degrees that day, so
Yeah, we were melting.
it was a little hot. And then another one of my favorite joints is the High Man joint.
Yeah.
And
Those are fun.
I mean, look at how big they are. 2 grams.
It's a beautiful thing
Glass
right there,
tip.
isn't it?
You know, the first time I had a couple of these, I like saved the tips, right? Because I was like, I'm going to use those again. And then it didn't happen. And I was like, well, I guess I'm going to just start to clean the tips away. Because, I mean, you could maybe make necklaces.
That's cute.
You can roll another joint around them.
I'm sure. Have
You
you
have
ever
to know
done
how to
it?
roll a
Yep.
joint.
Okay, yeah. So I haven't done that, but
We'll have to have a
I
class.
can't even do the ones with the paper tips.
Oh,
I can't even do
I have
that.
to have a roller.
No,
I give you a
Yeah.
second
not me.
lesson if you
I'm a
need
little
more.
old school. I'm like zigzags, white and gold, and a grinder in a tray. And let's see, what's this? I haven't tried this yet. You bake?
Yep, you bake rocks and rolls. There's actually some concentrate in those.
Oh, nice. Oh, oh,
Might be
nice.
giving this one to Ida too.
I think so. I know my body very well.
Yeah. And then he gave me another one that was also from one of my favorite companies, Real Leaf Solutions, and I gave it to a good friend in the hall just a few minutes ago. I'm not going to say who it was, but
Aw.
somebody very important.
Yeah.
So,
Look, sharing the love. I love it.
I love to share. That's right.
Yes, you do.
All about
Oh my
sharing
goodness.
things.
Everyone loves free samples, so
I know.
Absolutely.
including me. You can find me at Lake Effect. Any cannabis industry owners out there, bring some free samples to Lake Effect.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So what's next, Devin? What's in the works for you?
Oh, really? Getting our processor going and getting our grow going is what we wake up and think about trying to accomplish every day, and what needs to happen. We're working with Precision on getting our processing equipment in. It should be in very soon. We're looking forward to processing biomass into crude oil and then distillate after that.
Okay.
So that's a huge goal of our processor, and then continuing to build out our grow. We got some electrical work being done in there right now. HVAC is coming along, and getting our first plants in there is a huge goal. And when we started on this journey 6 years ago, we knew we had to become a vertically integrated company to survive, and that's always been our goal from day one. We were constantly looking at properties for grows and processing, and dispensing while we were dispensing. And because of how important that is to really become your own supplier if you can be, and being able to market those products around the state as well is huge. So yeah, just trying to finally become a vertically integrated company is one of the ultimate goals, and with a little luck, fingers crossed, we'll be there by the end of this year, hopefully.
Yay! That's awesome. Yay!
So we got a couple tours.
Yep, we can
I
let
think
you.
I've been through all the buildings,
Yep, I think
already.
we've been through pretty much all of them.
and I'm excited to see the progress.
Yeah, they're further along now,
Yay.
thankfully.
It's been a long road.
Yeah, it has, and as you know, we're self-funded. The ownership structure hasn't changed, and
Can you
we haven't
explain a little
taken
bit
any-
about that too? Why you're?
yeah, well, I mean, in this industry, banking is virtually non-existent. You can deposit your money in banks, and that's great. You can do payroll out of banks and write checks out of banks, but you can't get any funding from any traditional funding sources. So a lot of times what people have to do, because it's such an expensive industry, is they just have to sell percentages of their company, usually large percentages, to companies that will come in and buy a huge stake in their company, and then finish building out whatever it is that they started building out, because they couldn't afford to get there. We didn't want to be like that. So we made sure we didn't overspend too much is obviously part of it. You got to get lucky here and there too, but we've been self-funded from the very beginning.
Wow.
So you just got to be careful with your money, and that you're not wasting any of it.
Mm-hmm.
That it's all going back in to essentially grab market share.
Right.
In the industry, market share, there's so much of it out there to grab, and we're just scratching the surface of starting to get some of the market share versus the unregulated market and the market share that they get, which is still massive. So
Right.
We want to be a company that provides a good place, such a good commercial footprint and front that people want to come and purchase their products from us,
Right.
instead of the unregulated market,
Mm-hmm.
which is, I got nothing against the unregulated market. It's a great market, but we want to be better than that as a company, so that people can make that choice.
Well, and it's your standard. I love that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Raising the bar.
Yep, trying to lead by example, like I said, and just being the company that you would want to shop at yourself, and that you would never think twice about shopping at, whether you're part owner of it or not.
Right.
So,
So the vertical integration is going to be like all Portage.
the grow and our processor that's currently running are both in Kalamazoo.
Okay.
Our retail stores are in Portage right now. We've we've tried in many other areas of the state and just came up short via lotteries and different things like that. City municipalities can be interesting beings to work with, and there's so many things that can go wrong before something goes right. And we were lucky in Portage to win a couple lotteries. We've been unlucky everywhere else. So, but we're still trying in places that we feel it makes sense, and we feel like maybe we have a partner there that makes sense to work with. So, certainly this industry is not going to stop growing anytime soon. It's crazy, and then there's so much more room to grow. We're not up there to where the alcohol establishments are yet. So until we get there, I think we're still going to grow. So
I love the interior of Devins retail. So, Lake Effect is kind of like a lake feel, and, they have some like High Times Cannabis Cup Award and like a showcase, right?
Yeah, there's
and kind of like waves, right? With the whole Lake Effect. Yeah. And the floors are, what are the floors? They're that.
They're kind of just
they're pretty.
Kind of like an acrylic.
Yeah.
Like a board type floor.
Yeah. But then like the staff is really happy. Right? They're having a good time all the time. And that's one thing I've noticed for years. As you walk in, they're all smiling, they're joking, they're having a good time, getting along, happy. And that, like, you want to buy your cannabis from happy people, right? I mean, you do.
Yep. And happy employees usually, a lot of times they come from happy customers too.
Yeah, exactly.
And one great thing about working in this industry is there is a lot of happy customers for various reasons. And so when the happy customers come in and talk to you as an employee, it's usually a pretty fun conversation. So it makes the day go by better. Our employees are phenomenal, though. They're great. They handle the good with the bad and understand that at the end of the day, they try to do the best you can with the customer service interaction, attention to detail behind that, and hopefully everyone is nice back to you. Usually they are.
And then we went to Doja when it opened.
We did.
And what was that? It was over a year ago.
Oh, well over a year ago.
Yeah.
Years ago.
Yeah. It was like 2019.
We're going on our 2-year there in November this year.
Okay.
Yeah, it would have been November.
So I remember because it was snowing. It's cold. But it's a different feel. It's like an art gallery.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
There is a lot of art in there.
And it's fun art, right?
A friend of ours named Ben is an artist, Dirt Street Art. Shout out to Dirt Street. But he does a great job, and we've got some projectors in there now that Justin has set up where they'll outline some of the paintings and put some cool designs on them and everything, and it's just a really cool feel. So we've got a great amount of clientele there, and they love the store, and it's great to see people's reaction to seeing some of the stuff inside Doja that they've never seen in a dispensary before, even in other states. So
that is exciting.
That's one thing that's nice about retail. Like, everyone is so different in the state, and there's a lot of small mom and pops and self-funded, and they all have their own spin and their own design, and I enjoy that more than walking into ones and they all have the same wallpaper and the same branding and
cookie cutter.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're seeing what comes out of somebody's brain.
Right.
You can tell, I think, what brains were out of state, and what brains were maybe still small business owners and in state and Michigan.
And I can see by the samples you brought us, you guys support small Michigan-owned companies.
We definitely love working with them, especially any of the members in the MiCIA, which are a lot of them. Because they understood the great amount of leadership you guys brought to the table through even before it was legal. So it was great, and they were around for that. But there's some great companies in Michigan. I mean, we're lucky. We're so lucky to be in Michigan and have the laws that we do compared to other states and other cannabis laws that are just kind of being suffocated by their. Before it was suffocated by being illegal, and now they're just being suffocated by overregulation and things like that. And it's sad to see that. It's great to be in Michigan, and hopefully, I would hope that other states honestly take some lessons from the way Michigan's law came about and what is in the law now and how it works, and make, help bring some of those opportunities to their citizens.
Absolutely.
But,
Well, Jevin, do you want to give a shout out to anyone real quick before we close our show?
I want to give a shout out to Jevin.
Oh, thanks, Robin.
Yay.
No, you know, Jevin, we go way back, like 2015.
Yeah, we go back pretty far.
Yeah, I think we met in 2015. And yeah, Jevin was like always down with the cause, right? A true activist at heart.
Nice.
And you know, when we formed the association, Jevin was one of the very first founding board members.
Mhm.
And, you know, stepped right up and you know, they asked us to come out and visit. And you know, I was like, why are you, you know, why are you so eager to come in, and why are you coming in at such a high level? And he just was like, you know, I've watched, you know, and been a part of this movement for so long. Like, I want to be, I want to give back. I want to support. I want to be on the ground floor of the new association. And, you know, back then I had no idea how big our organization was going to grow. But, you know, we have our board meetings every first Wednesday of every month. Jevin, I don't think has ever missed a board meeting. Yeah, I mean, he's there and, you know, giving input. And, you know, that's one of the things I love about our board members is they are all from Michigan. They are all, you know, mostly self-funded. And they only ask me to do good things. You know, I mean, really. And in our board meetings, you know, yes, it's business, but it's also a lot of talk about, well, what's the right thing to do?
Exactly.
And Jevin is always a solid voice for doing the right thing. And I love that about him. You know, some of these business owners get pretty cutthroat, and, you know, Jevin keeps it very real about where he came from and, you know, what we had to go through to get here. And I just can't say enough nice things about you and how grateful I am to have you on my board and to be a friend.
Thanks, Robin. You're the best.
You're welcome, boss.
No, Robin is great, and yeah, I mean, this organization, it's the content of the character of this organization, and always wanting to do really what's best for the industry, and not putting anyone's no favoritism, no nothing, to say what's best, what's fair, what's going to lift up the industry, what's going to incentivize the whole industry, and not just incentivize one person necessarily or one facet, but what's going to incentivize the whole industry and get this industry where we need it to be really the leader in business that it will be and that it should be in our society, and making sure it's maximizing all the opportunities that can provide people. So, Robin, I can't thank you enough for the years and years and years and years and years, even before I ever thought of cannabis, of pushing this forward for our society, for social equity reasons, for lots of reasons, just understanding how big this was. You know, nobody really realizes kind of what we're starting, I don't think, and how big this is really going to be when it's all said and done. But it's going to be one heck of a behemoth when it's all said and done, and it's going to be a great thing, and it's going to make so many more areas of our society so much better for a lot of people, and something to be proud of instead of something that we haven't been able to be proud of for a long time. So thank you for taking everything that you've taken on, all the heartache, the hard work, the 24-hour work days, the door-to-door nonstop, constantly arguing, debating with politicians that shouldn't even be elected, honestly, but you have to give them your time and debate with them, even though they have a nonsensical standpoint on things, and just continuing to dig into that and try to change that mindset. Robin, you're a real hero. And
you're a hero too.
I greatly appreciate you and everything you've done. So
thank you.
But appreciate your kind words.
Okay, shout out for somebody else now.
Shout out.
Okay.
I got to shout out my mom.
Yay.
She's probably
Bye,
not.
Mom.
She's probably not listening out there, but love you, Mom. Thanks for everything. My wife Katie and my kids, Everett and Ella, they've been great. I mean, you talk about a career change. I was sitting in an office in an RV factory for years, and then got cancer. And hey, hi Katie, wife, kids. Guess what? I'm gonna quit my job and be in the cannabis industry. And yeah, hey, we're going to open a store and I might go to prison for a few years. I have no idea. Who knows how they're going to look at this thing, but this is what we got to do. They, Katie trusted me and never batted an eye and understood kind of what I was going through and what needed to happen. And so definitely wife and kids. Lake Effect team, can't say enough about you guys are great. Doja team, great. Black Market team, great. It's just such an honor and privilege to work with such great people at all of those locations and to see how much they love cannabis and love talking to people about cannabis and love moving cannabis forward. So thank you to all those people for being great team members and family members that were part of my life. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today and opening up and sharing your story and the impact, that you've had on the cannabis industry too. I mean, it's huge.
Well, it takes a great team, and I knew, from the time I had cancer, I just kind of knew what I had to do, and it just seemed like what I was supposed to be doing. So it didn't seem like anything, but the team members that are around me that have really that have provided the pathway forward and the full circle way to move this forward is it just takes so much effort from anybody.
And it truly is a community.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's time for our ancillary shout out.
And this one goes to GMS, Group Management Services. They submitted a lovely video, and we're going to play it momentarily.
Welcome to Group Management Services. As a leading voice of the cannabis industry, we are excited to announce that we are members of the Michigan Cannabis Industry Association. I'm Brandon Horde, Sales Manager of the Detroit, Michigan office.
Hi, I'm David Swift with GMS, the Vice President of Sales and Marketing. At GMS, we already partner with a variety of cannabis businesses across the U.S. And as any new and upcoming industry, legislation and compliance is constantly evolving and changing, and that's where GMS comes in. We're a professional employer organization that works with small to mid-sized businesses and really dealing with all these HR and compliance issues for a business. So GMS is a good fit.
We help take over the administrative functions of
payroll, human resources, risk management, and benefits.
From the feedback we've gotten from leaders in your industry, they say it's difficult to keep up with the constant changes to stay compliant.
We hear it's hard to find good health insurance options for their employees. We also hear it's hard to recruit and put together an employee handbook.
GMS has you covered. Our HR experts take over the HR responsibilities so you can focus on what matters, growing your business. GMS is the preferred HR partner of over 1,800 companies in the United States, representing over 33,000 worksite employees. We will help you through the entire employee lifecycle, starting with recruiting quality talent, then on to background checks and onboarding. Once you have your employees in place, we then assist with retention by helping create employee performance reviews and incentives to help employees grow with your company. If and when it's time to part ways, leverage our seamless offboarding process, ensuring your business operations never skip a beat. This is another example of where our size allows us to extend offerings where small businesses would normally not have access. As a special offer available to you for your association membership, we'll take 10% off your admin fee when you sign up. Contact me today using code MCC21.
Enjoyed that little video clip. We enjoy getting them in.
And now we have some closing remarks. It's going to be brought to you by Robin Schneider.
And Ida.
Before we go, the next event is going to be September 22nd and 23rd in Detroit, hosted by the National Cannabis Industry Association.
Yeah, they've got a 2-day conference going on at CFC Center. If you go to NCIA's website, you can find on their events page, it's called the Midwest Cannabis Conference, Cannabis Business Conference. So we will be there. We're looking forward to that, but we're really looking forward to the after party that we're throwing. So
after party.
networking event.
The networking after party.
It will be September 22nd at 7 p.m. at Trust Nightclub we are co-hosting that MiCIA with Collexium and Cultivate Michigan.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll
Well,
be a good time.
it will be. We hope you all come out and join us. Yeah, and have a great afternoon, and we'll see you next week.